Hello, beautiful people. Please excuse my tardiness, my unpreparedness, but I was helping do things, make things happen. We're taking down tents that have been up for a week, but you know, c'est la vie, right? Yeah, that feels better. Alrighty. Here we are. Hi everyone. How's it going? How's your week been? I know that mine has been, nice. I can't complain. I've been doing overnights all week once again. Hi Lissy and Sean, I'm sure. Been doing overnights all week again. I actually drove myself for the very first time all the way up to New York. All by my lonesome. It was a great time. Always so happy to spend time with family. I remember saying at the end of last week, or in last week's live, that I encourage everyone to spend more time with family, right? To take time to just experience, hey, good job guys, to just experience that kind of love. And again, I don't know how everyone else's family dynamic is, but I do know that mine is quite the blessing, and as a result I get to experience just a very unconditional, loving type love that I don't think I would have had any other way. Sorry, I just had someone calling, and I know that makes me hi Tati, that freezes the screen, but so yeah, all I was saying was that, I have a very loving family that has taught me unconditional love that I wouldn't have experienced any other way, especially if all things were the same, meaning my relationship woes. I wouldn't, definitely at this point in my life, wouldn't experience unconditional love or learn what it is or what I think it is, what it means to me, had it not been for the family that I have and all sides of that. So yeah, I think it's important that we all take time to share and spend time with our families and just learn to love and appreciate them for who they are. I think we can learn and define unconditional love for ourselves through our family. That's probably why we have families in the first place, like why we're given family, or that we are meant to make family. Because I know that not everybody's born blood family treats them as family, or that you experience all the things that one might think of when you say the word family, as when you're with your given family. But you can create that same dynamic with the people that you encounter and interact with if you so choose. And I think that's the main part of being a family, is choosing to love this person despite them getting on your nerves or suggesting that they may know better about your life than you might, and being able to have those tough conversations with people because you love them, and you want to see them be their best self, or because you know that they love you and they want to see you be your best self. Like, you're able to grow in ways as a result of family that you wouldn't any other way, or at least I can't think of another way that you would be able to do that. You coming over because you want to be on? Yeah, so Tati is on. Tati Shantufi. Yeah, so okay, sorry guys, I got a voicemail. So yeah, that was what I said at the end of the last live, or in the midst of the last live, as far as like family and stuff. And so I got to practice what I preach this weekend. She says hi. She says hi, love you. So I got to practice what I preach, and I drove up to New York to visit family, spend time. It was a short time. It's never enough time, but I did get to spend time with family, and it's just, with each sector, with each section, with each piece of the pie that is my family, I get just a different kind of experience, a different kind of love, a different kind of familiarity, and it's great. I just know how blessed I am just as a result of the family that I have. Just because of the family that I have, I know truly how blessed I am. And it inspires me to want to pursue even more so this idea of a village, or to maintain the legacy of the village. So to me, that sentiment, like it takes a village to raise a child, is fully expressed in my family. And I would love to be able to maintain that legacy moving forward. That there was a point in time in my mom's home that I was living like with my aunts and my cousins and stuff. A few of my cousins and I grew up in the same house. Hi, Fa. I love you too. I love you so much. Thank you again for hosting me. You and Nola, even though she didn't love me until the end, but I knew it was going to happen. But yeah, I lived with my cousins growing up, like up until like 3rd grade, right? Or I guess up until 4th grade, living with my cousins. So I was in a full house. I know that's been the dynamic over the years for other parts of my family, other members of my family. And just being able to, having that option, I know is a blessing, because not everyone can do that. Even where I'm at now, living with my mom, I know that not everybody can do that. Happy to do it, cousin. I know that not everyone can do that because they don't have that dynamic. And so it's just a reminder of the blessings so much. And I would love to be that for, if I do have children, I would love to be that for them. I would love to be able to teach them that, family is home, that you can come back at any time, that you can spend, ideally you wouldn't want to spend so much time apart, have years in between you talking, but if you do, that you can come back home and be all right and be embraced and be loved, like, nothing ever happened. So I don't know how many times I can say how thankful I am to have the family that I have. I can't imagine it being any other way. And I just am thankful again for the reminders of that and the experiences that I've had since being back home for the past year. Hold on. I'm gonna try not to get all emotional. But yeah, being back home for the past year, it just, as much as, outside looking in for my external self, for my ego, for my identity, it hasn't been the best thing, because I'm not pursuing a career that people can recognize as something that you could or should pursue or whatever. And I'm not making all this money, or I don't own much of anything, right? But I know that I came home for this reason, right? To experience time with my family, to be able to, take off of work and not feel guilty about the clients that I'm not working with, or that I'm leaving high and dry, that they might have events that they want to get to and they want to spend time with their families, but they want to look good doing it or whatever. And so I was, I was not maintaining those commitments that I made to them by having this schedule and having it open or whatever. If I were to call out of work, then those people wouldn't get the service that they were looking for. And I would have to, plan months ahead in order to get time off, in order to spend with my family. But where I am now, and what my desire was for my life, was to be able to, if an event pops up, that I can do that. I can take advantage of that. I can be a part of it. That, I can be around for things. I can be around for the memories and the experiences and the times that are more important to me than, making a lot of money. It was nice to have made more money in that career path, and it was nice to have, built it on my own, essentially, that I I didn't go to school for cosmetology. I didn't, you know, it wasn't a path that was laid out for me. It was something that I chose, I pursued, and I made it to a fairly good position, a great salon, with great people, working with great people, on the track to becoming an educator. Like I was building a whole career out here, right? And I gave that up for many reasons, but one of them being that I wanted to really be a part of my family and to be a part of the memories. And I've been able to do that in a big way over the past year, and I am just so incredibly thankful for that opportunity. And what was I going to say? Oh, about the money, like having had money and making money at a time in that career or whatever. Yes, I had it, but I couldn't spend it because I wasn't able to do anything. My weekends were spoken for, and because it was so spiritually and emotionally draining, doing something that, yes, I enjoyed the art of, but I hated the business of. It just was not conducive to me and my being. But I was too drained to do anything. Like, I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to, you know, take time off or do things. I didn't want to do anything. I just didn't have the energy to do it, even though I could afford to do it. And so now I'm in a position where I may not be able to afford everything, but all of my needs are taken care of. I definitely have sacrificed a lot in order to be able to, in order to reduce my expenses to a point where, you know, I don't have to work as much, or I can take time off in order to spend time with family. And, you know, just be a part of those experiences, be a part of those memories, be in the pictures. Like, I was visiting my cousin. She just got her first apartment, and it's beautiful, and she's done a great job, and she has pictures up on the wall. And I was just saying to her, like, it's nice to make it into the collage. And even though those were older pictures that were up there, it's nice to have made it in the collage. And I recognize that as she switches those pictures out, there's going to be more opportunity for me to make it into the collage. Or my stepmom has a calendar that she makes every year. And there were a couple years where I wasn't in the calendar because I wasn't home, I wasn't around. And so to know that next year's calendar, I'm going to be all up in there, at least I hope so. You know, that I'll just be a part of those memories. I feel bad that my sister is going off to school, and for her older, more cognizant, like the years where she actually knew more about what was going on, I wasn't around because I was in Charlotte, which is something that I definitely had to do for me. But I'm thankful that I got to be a part of, you know, maybe her last summer at home memories. And so yeah, I just see more and more that I really am creating the life that was placed on my heart to live, and for that I am truly thankful. And as of right now, you know, there are elements obviously that aren't ideal, but I can absolutely see how they play a major role in what is to come, like what everything is going to be. And it just lights a fire under me even more to say, like, yeah, I want to be a part of this work. I want to ensure that other people are building the confidence and the skills and abilities to do the same thing. I don't think it's going to look the same for everybody. I don't think everyone's going to have to move the same way, but just the act of creating the life that's really on your heart, the life that you truly want to live and see, the eyes that you want to see the world through. Yeah, I'm so blessed. I am so blessed. It's something that I have to remind myself of daily, but I'm thankful for moments and times like this and seasons like this where it's just very blatant and abundant. Yeah, super blessed. And thank you to everyone that's here, because all of you guys are my family. So thankful for you. That's how Grandma's house in Paloma Lane has been for me and many others in my family. Grandma's house in Paloma Lane has been that for me as well. Your family and seeing your family dynamic. Whenever I think about my family, yours is a part of that. Yours is a piece of that pie as well, because it is an extension of everything that I've experienced too. That your family is just there for each other, that you guys are very supportive and loving, and you know, even through whatever may happen, even through any kind of messiness, it's still family, it's still love, it's still everything that I know family to be. And oh, thank you. Mama says, you'll be featured all over the 2022 calendar. So glad you've been here for large and small moments. Me too. So thankful. But yeah, listen, your family has been an extension of everything I know family to be. To see the family that you have been married into, a small glimpse of their family dynamic as well. I consider that the same thing, that it's just so much love, so much love, and I'm so thankful that we are surrounded by that and come from that and are going to continue that. Said going away from family and coming back makes you appreciate it more. Yeah, and I feel like maybe that's why I had to go away because I think there was a lot of me that was taking that for granted. My family and our dynamic, and as much as I've always loved getting together with everybody and spending time with everybody, I think being away and it becoming that much harder to do wasn't fun. And I definitely learned to appreciate everyone and everything that I have so much more as a result of it. And yeah, I'm still in the back of my mind as I say it, I'm still thinking like, yeah, but there were dynamics of your own personal life that were closer to the goal. And I hear that, I acknowledge it, I appreciate you stating that, but also this aspect of family, especially, you know, we're all getting older, and maybe seeing my sister go off to school is putting that into context. And just like, girl, you were a baby. It wasn't that long ago that you were like a tiny baby. We had all these pictures of her at her send-off party, and I'm just like, no, but this is what I remember. This tiny little butterball is what I remember, not this grown woman who's off on her own in a couple of days. Like, it's crazy how the years pass and stuff. And I say to the I call them adults, but I guess I'm technically one of them. Love you, Crystal. And hi, Anna. Sorry, I saw you. And love you, Lissy. But yeah, I call them adults, but you know, the adults in the family. Like, I don't know how y'all do it, just watching all the kids grow up and experience life and do things on their own and make their own choices and all that stuff. Like, how do you let go? How do you watch these years pass by through these kids and, you know, you're okay? I would be a mess, honestly, daily. But I guess technically I'm doing it too, right? Yeah, it's just seeing that everyone, all of us are getting older. I want to draw closer as opposed to further apart. And so for me, the idea of this village will just bring us all closer together. My goal for the world is for us to feel more village-like, right? For us to feel more collaborative and like we recognize more readily that we depend on each other as much as we do. I don't think that we realize how much of each of us we really need in this world. So hi, mommy. I don't know what's going on. I see you going in and out, but hi, girl. But yeah, yes, Drea, love it. You family too, girl. But I think that we all need each other more than we are than we're able to recognize just in our regular day-to-day. And so I want for my life and my world and the world that I'm creating, I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that recognition. I want people to realize that we do rely on each other a whole lot for, even if it's not for material things, but emotional support, for growth and learning. Like, we have to interact with each other in order to grow, in order to learn more, in order to be better, to be a better version of ourselves, in order to recognize the parts of ourselves that we love despite criticisms that may come from other people, especially family, right? Being able to stand up to the people that you love and respect, and you know that love and respect you, being able to look them in the eye and say, I love you, and I know that you love me, but also this is what I want for my life. It gives you a certain level of confidence that I don't think that you could get otherwise. So yeah, just embracing that village mentality is an important part of the life that I would like to create, the legacy that I would like to leave. And what that looks like is still forming and growing and becoming a thing. But I think the dynamic and the love and all of that has been blueprinted for me from the people that I call family is going to be a major, major, major part of it, because it is just so amazing. It's amazing. And I pray that everyone that I know is touched by it in some way. And I think the family that you come up through or learn from or are touched by will affect you, and therefore all the people that you touch or are attached to will be affected by the family that you come from. So I want to extend my family, grow my family, and all the things that I consider family as much as possible, so that I can touch as many people as possible, and the people that I call family can touch as many people as possible, and we can all just, be one big happy family, right? That's the goal. That's the ideal. Yeah, guys, that was, I don't know where that came from, just the love on my heart. I didn't ask anyone how their week has been, so please tell me. How has your week been? And, how's your family doing? How's that? Let's get those questions going. How's everyone's family doing? How do you see family? How do you define family? I know that, like I said, not everyone's born family. Blood family is what they think of when they consider the word family. But I think that definition can come to you just like any other word. Yes, we have a dictionary definition, but that's made up by people too, and that's made up on a agreed upon set of circumstances and ideas. Essentially everything that we all experience here on this plane is a matter of things that we've agreed to in some capacity. How we interact with each other is a matter of what we've agreed to. Alyssa says, week has been good. Family is doing well. Uh-oh. Said, poor wireless connection. Where's my tech guy? File says, family is home. Amen to that. I love it. I agree. Family is definitely home. When I was away, when I was in Charlotte, and to have you and your sister come and visit me, even if it wasn't for me, just to see you guys, I felt like I had a piece of home. Living with my sister felt like a piece of home. Being able to come back home was icing on the cake when I had family nearby, when I've had family nearby. And so now, being home, the main part of it is being able to be with family. So yeah, you guys are gonna get me all choked up again if I keep talking about this. We got to change the subject. So we could talk about, what kind of life do you want to create? Does everybody know what it is that they want out of this life? Do you know what you want to agree to, or what you want to encourage others to agree to? If we're like accepting that, we're all agreeing to something by being here. Whether that's the definition of family, whether that is, what success is, what is love, I got my cousin on Married at First Sight. And so we've been talking about love and relationships and stuff, which she's probably my favorite person to talk to about relationships because she has an opinion. You understand that not everybody has an opinion. Not everybody thinks things all the way through or considers, what it is that they want out of this thing that we call life and all the different pieces of it. And so to talk to somebody who has an opinion, whether it's like the same as yours or not, is refreshing in this day and age. And so, yeah, I thoroughly enjoy talking to my cousin File about relationships and what her thoughts are and her take is. I absolutely learn from her, for sure, in terms of like strength and confidence and, not settling for less than anything that you desire. But also, I think that I could offer, in our conversations, I have something to offer as well as far as, being more open. Being open to different possibilities, because that is the crux of my philosophy in life, is that, we serve a creator that has also created a realm of pure potentiality so that anything is possible. Any and everything is possible. So I think, yes, we have our lessons that we've learned, and we should absolutely take those lessons with us as we move through life, but also believing that there is an energy, a being, a person out there that wants what's best for us and wants us to have everything that we want. I also leave myself and my heart open to the possibility that that is out there as well in a recognizable way. It is not going to come to me like as a fairy tale and something that I'm not going to believe anyway, but also it's going to come to me in a way that I'm like, hey, this is actually what I've been looking for this whole time. Like, oh, okay, you did kind of come out of nowhere, but that's cool too. The same way I'm doing with, like, recognizing that I love my family. Like, I love my family. Every single aspect of the dynamic, I love it. And so that has come to me in pieces. That has come to me incognito. It didn't come so obvious, and it hasn't been a fairy tale, but I recognize it, and the scales have been removed from my eyes in that way. And so I think that can happen in love as well, in romantic relationships as well. And I'm open to it, and I'm here for it, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't have I say this every week, I don't have much else to say. That was it. I just want to hear, I would love to know if anybody knows what it is that they want out of this life. At least an idea, a thought that has crossed your mind. Like, what is it that you want? I have these 4 questions. I'm sure I've shared them on here. It's the, who are you? Do you know who you are? Do you know what you want? Do you know where you're going? And do you know how you'll get there? Those are the 4 questions at the crux of everything that I desire to do. Any program that I desire to create will have something to do with answering those 4 questions. And I think they do need to be done in order at some point. But obviously, go with what you got, start with where you are. And so for a lot of us, it starts with wanting and desiring something else for our lives, something other than what it is that we're experiencing and how things are at this very moment. Sorry, y'all, I got things flying around me, and it's on today. I hope everything's okay. Mommy's on here, so you guys, what's happening? The devil is a lie. Somebody does not want us to talk today. I'm getting calls. The signal is going out. I don't know what's happening, but I speak peace and blessings over everyone. I pray that y'all are doing all right out there, and somebody pray for me. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, I think knowing what it is that you want might be one of the first things that pop up in our heads when we embark on this, I guess, spiritual journey, spirit-led journey. Okay, so you see that it's going out? I hope it's all right. I don't know what else to do. I'm outside. Maybe that's the problem, but okay. Well, I love when my hair blows in the wind, guys. I feel like I'm on a beach. Okay, mommy's good. Make it, ooh, yummy. Chickpea curry. Okay, so, yeah. Anybody talk to Angie? Somebody find my sister. Make sure she all right. Make sure she all right, and then we're good. We'll worry about the signal as that keeps going. But what was I saying? Knowing what it is that you want. Thanks, girl. I feel it. I feel it. I need to add more things to my hair. They fall out, and so now I'm feeling a little naked. Knowing what it is you want is something that we recognize, and that sends us often on our spirit-led journey that isn't necessarily tied to anything that's in this world. You could just be saying, okay, good. You could just be saying, I want to be a better version of myself. That is something that you want. And then you would start from the top of knowing who it is that you are today, right? Who am I right here, right now? What is it that I bring to the table? I know people don't like to hear that, especially folks that are still on the dating scene. But, the table of life, not necessarily a dating table. What is it that I bring to situations, to when I go to work? What is it that I bring to the job? What is it that I bring to a relationship? What is my contribution to the family? Like, those are parts of who you are. What is the story that I tell myself, that I would tell if I were telling my story to someone else, as if I were someone else, right? So I'm telling the story of Patrice. What kind of things would I say? What kind of language would I use? That's all about who it is that you are, that narrative identity. And then you get into what it is that you want. So you started out by saying this as, I want to be a better version of myself. So what does that look like? What does that better version entail? List all of the things. I started doing my birthday wish list this past month, just to embrace this idea that anything is possible, right? That I can ask for any and everything from the world, and in some capacity I will receive it. It may not look the way that I wanted it to look. It may not come in as quickly as I thought that it should come in, but it will come in, and I believe for that. And if I can believe for that, then I will receive it, right? In some way, at some time. So getting into that wish list mentality, believing as if you were a child, right? That I'm going to make my Christmas list. I'm putting everything in this Toys R Us toy book that is in this book. I want it on my list. Matter of fact, let me just hand you the book because I don't need to write it down. This is what I want, right? Having that kind of mentality. And then getting into the where are you going is the vision. You get into more specifics. You get into more of, ideally, yes, I want a big house, but what does a big house mean to me? How would I allocate that space? What am I going to do with 5 rooms? Obviously, I don't need them all to be 5 bedrooms. I know for me, I definitely want to have a craft room in there. I would love to. I don't want a 5-bedroom home, but if I were to say that's what I wanted, right? Put that on the wish list. What does that actually look like for me in my life? Let me get specific. Let me get in tune on the same vibration as these things that I'm asking for. Like, I want a 5-bedroom house so that I can have a craft room. I can have a space for, visitors. I can have a room for anybody who comes to visit, because that village, right? I'm definitely going to have family coming in. I also need a room for the 2 kids that I'm going to have. Each of them are going to have their own room, and then a room for me and my man. That would be my 5 bedrooms allocated. So what do I need to do now in order to draw that into me? What are the steps between me now and that 5-bedroom house? Actually, our example was about like being a better person, right? So I want to be a better person. And what that looks like for me is being more confident and being able to speak more eloquently. And so what do I have to do? You said, so you don't have to have a separate. No, I'm definitely having a separate house. So what do I have to do? And Tati says, birthday coming up soon. It is coming up soon. And I have, for anybody who stays until the end. Actually, let's talk about it now, just in case anybody decides they don't want to stay until the end. So Miss Alyssa is here now. And she has decided, and I have asked her actually, to run a live craft with me kind of thing. So she does resin art. She's a resin artist, and all of her pieces are absolutely gorgeous. And so I have asked her to lead a resin art pouring project for my birthday. And so that will be held, I'm pretty sure it's going to be held on the 29th, or actually no, we talked about doing it a little bit after Labor Day weekend. So yeah, we'll be in person. She'll be with me, alongside me, and then we get to do it all together. So I'll have a supply list for you guys soon for anybody who wants to participate, and you guys can order your stuff so that we can all do a cute, fun art project together that will be functional in some way, whether it's just a piece that you hang on the wall or coasters or something. It's gonna be gorgeous. It's gonna be beautiful. You're gonna love it. But that will be soon. I have all the information for you very soon. I'm excited. I can't wait. Y'all know I'm crafty. I love it. But yeah, so we're talking about becoming a better person. And so what that looks like for me, like I said, being confident and being more eloquent with the way that I speak. I'm able to get my ideas across and convey them in a way that other people are able to understand. Yay! So I, how can I get closer to that? So that is the vision, right? That's how I see myself when I say I'm a better person. It's because I'm confident, I'm eloquent, and maybe I'm kinder to the people that are in my life. And so how can I get there from here? So I know that y'all have been around while I talk about this idea of the wilderness. And so all of that entails mountains and trees and all that fun stuff. Oh, thank you, cousin. I was saying the same thing about you. That's actually something that I was thinking about. Truly, the things that I listed are things that I actually want for myself, is to be more eloquent, better, more well-spoken, and confident and kinder, right? And so those are things that I actually want for myself. And listening to you speak this past weekend, I was like, oh, I want to be more like my cousin. Okay, so Alyssa is asking, how does having a separate house work with family dynamic with kids and village thinking? So I haven't gotten all the way there yet. And also I add the caveat that I don't know that I want to have children. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I don't know that I want to. That's not something that is, pressed upon me to have kids. So for people that do want children, I don't know that it is I don't know if it's the ideal situation, but for me, I don't know that I want to have kids. So I think I have thought about that, like how does that work if you were to have kids? I don't know, can't speak on it, but as of right now, it would just be me and my boo, and we're next door neighbors. Like the vision that I had, we literally had like a walkway between the houses. So it's just like, I don't know. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate you. That saying that I have those qualities, I appreciate it. I'm trying really hard to be that person and to, grow in those ways. So, yeah, this idea of the wilderness, that being a mountain peak that is out there, like I'm pointing far beyond myself, right? You can see the peak of that mountain. I know that that is my destination. And in the meantime, in between time, how I get there are going to be steps, right? Small steps that are going to take me to the mountain and up the mountain. There are going to be obstacles that may be in the way between me getting to the mountain and up the mountain. But regardless, I know where I'm going, right? I know the vision I have for my life. I know the things that I want for my life and what that looks like for me. So even when somebody else comes along and says, hey, you said that you want to be a better person, the better person mountain is right there. Why don't you just stop there? It's like, yeah, that might be the better person mountain for you, right? You think that being a better person means that that you have all this money or something like that. So that's the only way that you can, serve others and be better to the poor or something like that. That's your plan for being a better person. But my plan is still out there because I need to be, more eloquent, confident, and kind. And so you give yourself your own guidelines. You define for your life what it is that you want and where it is that you're going, right? And then the how will you get there is having the grace for others, the other people that are around you that are also trying to become a better person. So I can say to that person, yes, that's your mountain, your better person mountain. And, while I don't agree that that is how you become a better person, or that is how I would become a better person, if that's what you want and that's what you desire for your life and you believe that that's going to make you better, then by all means pursue that. How can I help you in that quest? Right? So it's not just having grace for other people, but it's also being in service to other people that are, creating the life that's really on their heart. They're going to have obstacles regardless. I don't think that we should be a part of it in choosing. There's a master plan, right? A plan that's bigger than all of us that will have us be obstacles for other people, whether we're just challenging the way that they think. So for me, in my quest to become more eloquent, there's somebody who's going to challenge my ideas, challenge and confident, right? There's people that are going to challenge my ideas and challenge what I desire for myself, and my being able to stand up to them and speak clearly and share those ideas in an effective way may be the obstacle. And it's not them trying to stand in my way and stop me from getting to my mountain peak, but that's part of me getting there, right? In order for me to know that I am more confident, in order for me to know that I am more eloquent, in order for me to know that I am kind, because I could cuss you out, couldn't I? In order to get you out of my way. But in order for me to test all of those things and truly know that that is the path that I'm on and the person that I'm becoming and the better me that I know myself to be, then I'm going to have some things challenge that and maybe stand in the way of that, so that when I get around it, I can say, oh yeah, I did that. Go me. Go me, So yeah, those are my 4 questions. And so when I ask you guys, what is it that you want? What is the life that's really on your heart? Those are the things that we're getting at. Those the underbelly of it all, right? Like, this is the stuff we actually got to do. That's the work. Like, I don't know if you guys hear people talk about shadow work. I don't know if you guys hear people talk about, a spiritual path and all that stuff. But for me and my understanding, that's really what it is. That's really all it is. Being able to define for yourself what this life is going to be for you, and then pursuing it in a way that is conducive to you and what you want and your well-being, because that grace should not just be for other people. It's not just for others. It's for yourself as well. Bean, she just popped in with the heart. Me and her tell each other all the time, be gentle, because it's hard out here not being hard on yourself. So you gotta, you gotta be kind, be patient, be graceful give yourself grace in pursuit of your path, in pursuit of what it is that you want. Cousin is asking shadow work. Okay. Whew. So shadow work, if you haven't heard of it, is the work that you do with, I'd say, the parts of yourself that you don't necessarily love, right? The parts of yourself that aren't that best foot, right? You know how they say put your best foot forward? The parts of yourself that have been coloring the way that you see the world around you. So you might feel like life is hard. Asking yourself why, in what ways, can reveal to you your shadow self. It's the parts of ourselves that we may try to hide. It's the darker parts, right? We have our light. We have our light being our light body. We have the parts of ourselves that we show off proudly. The character traits, the experiences, the people in our lives that help us to, that reflect back to us like the parts of ourselves that we really like. There are parts of ourselves that we put out there more than others. And the shadow is the part that's in the background, that sits on the back burner, that plays a backseat role to our lives, when actually, if you don't work with it, get to know it, put it in check in some ways, it's actually in the driver's seat. So you believing that life is hard will make your life harder. You believing that I'm thinking, you believing that ain't no good men out here is going to be true, because there's a reason why you believe those things, and that reason is within you in some way. Now, I'm not saying, especially talk about, you know, ain't no good men out here, I'm not saying that there aren't people who exhibit that, but like I said before, there will be times when we are placed in someone's life as an obstacle, as a way for them to overcome the things that they're working on. See, I wasn't trying to say it, cousin. I wasn't trying to say the no good men thing, but that's what was popping in my head. And sometimes I have to speak the things that are in my head. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. We done this. Okay, we talked. I don't want to do it. But, you know, that's a thing that comes up for people, right? Not just you. It comes up for me too, right? And you have to ask yourself why. Why is that coming up? Why do I believe those things? And it stems from your experiences, but in those experiences, like, how did you approach it? How did you behave? How did you react? You know, there's culpability that we can take within our experiences as well. I'm not gonna get into that because, you know, that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself. But yeah, the shadow self is what's in the background until it isn't. And for a lot of us who talk about a spiritual path, it's the shadow that brought us out, right? So in my own story, my shadow was incredibly insecure. I would not be doing lives at all, ever, if I were still letting my shadow drive the car, right? I would not be sharing any of my ideas, like thoughts, anything like that, with anybody. So for me, I was on a path. It was like, okay, there are things that you have to accomplish, there are things that you have to do. I have never been so caught up in the school that I had to like get straight A's or anything like that. I didn't have that pressed upon me at any point in my, you know, formidable, what is the word? Not formidable. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. In those years, my adolescence, right? I didn't have that pressed upon me in any way. So it didn't come out of me as like strongly that I needed to get straight A's. But I did want to do well, right? Formative. Thank you. My journalist goddess here is helping me. Formative years. Yes. I didn't have that pressed upon me in my formative years, but I did want to do well, right? There was enough of that in me that I wanted to do well, and I wanted to succeed, whatever that meant for me at the time. And so that is the path that I pursued, and that led me to a place where I wasn't good enough. I wanted things that did not come to me at all, right? Like, even though I did well in school, I was in a fashion program, and I had geared all of my interest in that fashion program towards hair and makeup in the beauty industry and things like that. I applied for a internship at Disney, in their like bippity boppity boutique, right, where you get to style the little girl's hair, put glitter in their hair and all that stuff like that. I felt like I had built myself up well enough on paper that should have been a given, right? Things like that didn't happen. There was a point in time where like it was rejection after rejection after rejection. And I think for me, those were the obstacles that woke me up to my shadow self, that part of me that said, oh, you're not enough, you're not good enough, and you have to do better in order to get better and be better and all that stuff. And so I woke up to this idea that it doesn't matter how hard I work, in this way, it's not going to be enough, because truly this isn't really even what I want, right? This isn't really even what I want to do. I'm just doing it because this is the idea of success that I've had, and this is the idea of success that has made me feel better, I guess, that has acted as a salve to these open wounds that I have, really, that aren't being healed because I'm not doing anything to actually heal them. I'm just kind of going through the motions and pursuing something that I've been told to pursue in essence. Not to mention, I was a lover of Disney, like, and after that I kind of, put Disney on ice. Just saying. But yeah. So then it took me to a different place. Like, after graduating from college, my whole life changed. I started doing things completely different. Like, so much of what I wanted and pursued and thought that I was working so hard towards did not pan out at all. Like, at all. Losing friends, getting rejected from dudes and jobs, and job after job after job for like a year and a half. I could not find work in my field. And so I started doing, it's like, okay, if that's not going to work out, let me just do it how I want to do it. Let me just do whatever it is that I want to do. And that's how I ended up doing makeup, and that's how I ended up doing hair, and that's how I ended up here, essentially. Because it's like, all right, I can't operate in that space anymore, right? From this insecure, not enough space. I just have to believe that who I am it's enough for me, at least. So let's see what I can do with that. And so far, so good. Like, I have no complaints. There's still a whole lot more work to do. But I have gone much further in this time, even though, and I've talked about this before, my outside material world isn't as rich as my inner spiritual world. Like, it is vastly different. I feel the catch up happening, and I'm going to continue to close that gap. But what you guys see, at least when I'm not speaking, right? I guess when I speak, you guys get it, especially y'all, because like I said, y'all in here are my family. You get me, you feel me, you know who I is, right? You get it, you see it. Thank you. But when I don't speak, if you just look at me, or if I just lay out my resume, it would be like, girl, you ruined your life. And I felt like that for a long time, that I ruined my life, and that I wasn't pursuing anything at all, and that I didn't have the language to explain to my family, the people that I know that love me and want to see me do great, to explain to them what it was that I was doing. Like, what are you thinking? And I guess now, in the work that I'm doing, I'm able to much more eloquently, right, explain what I'm doing. Even if I can't necessarily explain it, I'm able to show in some ways what it is that I'm doing now, and how that's manifesting in my life, how that's being brought into this physical. So everything that I've been doing so far has been internal, a lot of internal work, a lot of that shadow work, dealing with the parts of me that I didn't like, the parts of me that I was trying to hide and, not deal with. Any hurt, any pain, any experiences that I've had that I was like, that's just how life is. That's just the way things are for me. You want to get into shadow work, like I said, tell your story as if you were talking about somebody else. As if you were talking about somebody else to somebody else. So for the people in here, tell Nisi's story to someone else. Tell File's story to someone else. Tell Tati Shantu's story to someone else, right? Tell Bean's story to someone else. But you are telling it. You can write it down in your journal. You can voice record it, whatever it is. But the language that you use when you're talking about yourself, pay attention to the language that you use, the words that you're using when you're telling your story to somebody else, the themes that are popping up. Like, is your story all about rejection? Is your story all about how you had to come up out the mud, like you had to do it all by yourself, nobody ever helped you? Those are the things that you can mark, right? And pay attention to, like, is this part of my shadow? Is this part of what fuels me? Do I not ask for help because in my story, I believe that no one was ever around to help me? I'm not saying, when I say because I believe, it's not that it wasn't true, right? Your truth is your truth, right? Your story is your story. But there may have been more opportunities for help or for guidance or for assistance that you didn't recognize because you were so closed off from that, right? Your shadow was in the driver's seat and was like, yeah, no, we don't do that. We don't need directions. We don't do that, right? So when you start to see those, your narrative identity, the story that you come up with, the story that you tell yourself, because those are the things that you repeat to yourself in your day-to-day, right? Those are the things that stop you from seeing that may be on the side of the road, right? The road that you're driving on. I keep getting into this driving metaphor, even though mine is wilderness. Somebody's wilderness is on the road. Somebody's wilderness is the highway, okay? And for you, this is for you. So, yeah, there might be people on the side of the road that are trying to help you, that are trying to tell you, oh no, that's the wrong way, don't go that way. But your shadow self is in the driver's seat saying, yeah, nah, we got to get here how we get here because nobody's going to help me anyway. That's all that's coming through for that. So I don't know who that's for, but that was a piece for you. But yeah, so thank you, Bean, for noticing so much growth and not just my hair. I appreciate you noticing and seeing, because I was not this person in college. I was me, she was in there, but I was not expressing this version of myself in college. And I know moving forward, there will be another version, right? I will continue to elevate because that is my goal. That is my desire for myself in my life. I will continue to change and grow and be an even bigger, better version of who you see here before you today. But yeah, I was definitely not going live, definitely not sharing my own thoughts and ideas because I didn't even know what those were. Or at least I couldn't admit that I knew what those were. Like, I don't know if anybody else, Alyssa, shout out to you and Sean for being a part of the challenge of, not saying I don't know. So if you weren't here last week, you're here now. And so I'm issuing the challenge to you. We're not saying I don't know. Okay? No mas. You are going to, if it's something that you don't know, you could say, I'm not sure, but I'm going to look into it. I have to look that up. I don't quite understand just yet, or, a lot of those things that we say I don't know about, we do know. I find myself slipping into old habits, and it happens when I'm feeling insecure about something. Like, I don't want to be challenged, right? I don't want to be asked for more information about something. So I'll be like, oh yeah, so, y'all just got to do shadow work. I don't know, whatever, right? I'll say it with a smile. I'll just throw it out there and then put the I don't know behind it so that it's not, so that people don't come at me in any way, or so that people don't think I feel as though I'm an authority on it, which I'm not an authority on anything but my own self and my own life, just so y'all know. But I am here for help and assistance and all those things if you need it. So hit me up. For those things. But I do recognize that I throw that I don't know in there as like a safety net, as a little parachute. I feel like I'm jumping out the window and I need a little extra safety, and so that I don't know comes into play. And I believe that most of us are doing it for the same way, just saying I don't know as like a little extra added protection from whatever may come. But you do know, and it is within you. Whatever answer it is that you need, and if not the answers, then the ability to find the answer is within you. So we're not saying I don't know. No mas. We're adults. We don't do that. I mean, y'all are adults. I'm not. I don't want to be that. So yeah. You guys, I'm losing my voice. I did just drive back from New York this morning. Nice smooth drive, but I did just make that drive. So I think we might be, unless anyone has a question or two, we might be all right. I think I've left y'all with a lot to think about and talk about and discuss. If you wanted to add anything, feel free to put it in the comments. I do go back over the comments afterwards to react to them, because I can't do that here. Or I can, but I am not sure just how, or actually, to be honest, I don't want to. I don't want to go through and react to them because I'm trying to remember the things that I'm trying to say. So that's another reason why we say I don't know, is because we don't want to be honest. And to be honest, I don't want to react to them until afterwards to let you know that I read it and I actually understood it. And maybe we'll have a conversation in the comments if you leave questions and all that stuff. I am going to post more videos to my YouTube, so please go over to that and like it and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Look out for the project with Alyssa that's happening, the event with Alyssa that is happening. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll just have to get your supplies, and then we'll go. I don't know if we're going on live, if we're going on in a messenger group, how it's going to work, but that's what we're doing. It's going to be lots of fun. Either my birthday, August 29th, or Labor Day weekend. We'll see. I think because she's coming up Labor Day weekend, we might just do it then. So either way, it's my birthday, so you're gonna have to spend time with me that day anyway, so you know, just be prepared. Look out for my wish list. I'm gonna keep posting about that. I think this week is about experiences. One experience I want you to have, if you didn't do it last week, is to experience time with your family. Born into family or created family, however that works for you. I'm in next month's pictures on the family calendar picking apples. Yay! That's because I was back by the time y'all were picking apples. You see what I'm saying? I made it into this year's calendar, you guys. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Any other announcements to be made? I don't think I have anything else. So I love you guys so very much for sticking with me, for hanging out with me this whole time. And I hope that you have an absolutely beautiful, amazing, and wonderful week. You are loved, you are blessed, and you have the ability, the capability to create the life that is truly on your heart. So please, please, please do it. We need you. We need you to be your best you. So that's it. Love you. Bye.